Hello YouTube, and welcome to episode 3 of our JavaScript series. And in this episode we're going to be checking out permissions, basically the permission handler, and I think that's the main purpose. No, it's buttons. Buttons is the main purpose of this video. So we're basically going to make a timeout command, and we're going to prompt the user whether they've got the right user, and they click a button to confirm or deny. So we're going to create our file, timeout.js. We're going to do const test guild equals require config. Now from discord.js we're going to import message action row, message button, message embed, and constants. And that goes on discord.js like so. Then we're going to do our module.exports, our info, so the name of the command is going to be timeout, the description of the command, timeout a member in the server, our arguments, the name is going to be not timeout, user, description, a member in the server. This one is required because you're not going to time yourself out. Type constants application command option types user. So there's that. You could do another argument if you wanted to for the reason, but I'll let you guys stretch and challenge yourselves to that. And a little hint, it's going to be a string. Okay. So there's that. It's not an NSFW command. As for our permissions, the client is going to need moderate members, which is what allows you to time out the user. And we don't want random people running it, so we also want the user to have the same permission to make sure, no randos can run it. Of course, it's your choice, sir. You could do it role based or user based, but in our case, we're doing it permission based. Obviously, it's going to be guild only. It's a moderation command. You can't time out in a DM. Then we're going to do our register, command IDs, empty array, and then our test guild. And now our execute function. We don't need access to the client, so we'll just underscore that out. Interaction and our arrow function, like so. So first things first, let's get the member object. So we're going to use interaction.guild.members.cache.get interaction.option. So this is the argument now. Get user, like so. Oh, .id. There you go. So obviously the user's required, so there's definitely going to be a user, and we try and resolve it to a member. If there's no member, so if the person's not in the server, we'll just return a reply. So interaction reply. Oh god, here comes spelling again. Ephemeral true, so that makes it so only the sender can see the response. We don't want to clog up the chat with error messages. You must provide a member in the server to timeout. Before we move on with the video, check out our partner HostingBot, a cheap, fast and reliable hosting company. They offer a range of services including virtual servers, website hosting and dedicated servers. Get 30% off your purchase by using the promotion code Monoxity at checkout. If you're in doubt, look at all these happy customers. Now, our next permission check. If the member isn't moderatable, which would mean the member might have a higher role than the bot, then we want to return another ephemeral reply. So ephemeral true content The bot is unable to manage the provided member. Now we're going to do one last permission check. This one is to check whether the user, like the sender, has a role higher than the person you're moderating on. So if interaction.member, so this is the sender, .roles.highest.position is less than or equal to member, so this is the target now, target person, return interaction.reply, we want it to be ephemeral, content, your role is below or equal to the member you're trying to time out. There's this whole role hierarchy stuff there. This is where we now make our buttons. So we're going to do const row, and it's going to be a new instance of a message action row. We'll call add components, and then within this we could do a new message button. We'll set the label, so this is the text on the button. Let's say timeout. Set style. Danger is red. Link is just grey, like for a link. Primary is blue. Secondary is grey. Success is green. In our case, we're going to use success. Then has to have a custom ID. So in our case, it's going to be timeout. You'll see why very soon. We'll call add components again for our next button. So set label. We're going to call this one cancel. Set style. Let's make it secondary, so grey. And the custom ID, which is going to be cancel, like so. Now we go ahead and create our confirmation embed. So a new message embed. Set color, let's just do random. Let's do the description. Would you like to time out user.tag? Do some backticks there. User.id, show their user ID as well, may as well. Question mark. Set title. Confirm timeout. Set footer. Then we want our text. This prompt will expire in 1 minute. So just advise the user that they have a limited time to decide. Now we're going to do our interaction.reply, but we're not returning it because we're not done here. We're going to do it as ephemeral. Our embeds array is just going to have our one embed in it, and then we want our components, which is going to be our message action row. And that will send the buttons, but the buttons won't function just yet. So we need to make those function. So we'll start off a filter. So we're going to have our button interaction variable right here. And we want to make sure that the interaction user ID is equal to the button interaction user ID. And what this does is ensures that those two match. So it's making sure that the person who sent the timeout command is the person clicking the button. No one else can click the button. Now we're going to create our collector. So we're going to do interaction.channel.create message component collector. We're going to put our filter variable in there. We only want one button click, so do the maximum of 1. And then the expiry, we advised 1 minute, so 1000 milliseconds times 60 is equal to 60 seconds. And now for our event listener, collector.on, collect, then our function for it. We're just going to do interaction.edit reply. Again, it's going to be ephemeral. Content, processing your request. we want to get rid of the buttons because they don't need to be clicked again now. We can also get rid of the embed since that's no longer needed. And now we're going to do collector.onEnd, and we're going to have a collected collection. If collected.first.customID is equal to timeout, so this is the button custom IDs now. So if we've confirmed a timeout, we want to time them out. So we're going to do member.timeout. We'll time them out for 1 hour, so 60 times 60 times 1000 milliseconds. Now, for the stretching challenge that I advised earlier about adding a reason to the arguments, your reason variable would go here. Well, that's up to you whether you want to do it. I won't completely spoon feed you there. It's for you to figure it out. But yeah, now we'll do our reply. So we'll edit reply again. Content successfully timed out the user, and we'll just put the user.id there for moderation purposes. Now can you guess how we're going to do the cancel? If you pause the video here and try and make the cancel one now, that'd be great, but I'll show you. So if collected.first.customID is equal to cancel, we just want to send a cancellation message. So it's going to be edit reply again, content successfully cancelled timeout request on user.tag, and put their ID for moderation purposes. And that's all there is to it. So as we do in each episode, we're going to start the bot, get the command ID, put it inside of our command IDs, and restart the bot. Now we can go to our testing environment. Alright, so first of all, let's just try timeout on Ayaki. So insufficient permissions, we know the permissions handler works. Now if I give it a role that does have permissions, we'll try and time out Ayaki again. And oh, okay. User is not defined. That is on line 81. Let me see. Yeah, it's right, user's not defined. We're meant to do member.user. So that was my mistake there. Is there anywhere else where it might be messed up? Yeah. So yeah, I forgot we converted it to a member, not a user. Right, let's try that again. Right, so timeout Ayaki. Okay, so there's the prompt. So I'm going to hit cancel. Successfully cancelled the timeout, nothing happened to him. Now let's try again. We'll time him out. Apparently he should be timed out. Yes, it says remove timeout from Ayaki. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future episode.